Hey Adam, the great wealth transfer, is it a boon or a bust for financial advisors?
I think it actually can be both a boon or a bust if advisors don't pay attention to the opportunity and challenges that the great wealth transfer is putting in our face. Now, we've been talking about this great wealth transfer of the boomers generation for the past 15 years. In fact, we tend to joke about it that it's been dangled in front of advisors as this massive opportunity for wealth transfer that they can participate. Turns out that most advisors actually tend to monetize when there's a transfer of assets from one generation to the next, but also when clients get aggravated with one advisor, they move. So you tend to see every 7 years or so, clients get the itch and they change their financial advisors on average. And this is actually an opportunity for most advisors to capture new business and, of course, retain as much of that business as possible. Where I think that advisors are really missing the boat here is they're not having conversations with the next generation of their clients, and they're not having conversations with the older generations of their clients. Think about it this way. When most individuals start to get on in years, they tend to start thinking about their mortality. So you can imagine your boomer clients, they are usually in retirement years, they're starting to spend their retirement assets, they're thinking about and seeing some of their friends leave the planet and or have medical challenges. This is a huge opportunity for us as financial planners and wealth managers to add value to their lives by giving them education, by making sure that their lives are structured appropriately, by reviewing their legal documents or having professionals do that, by contemplating their jurisdiction and the tax implication of where they live and what that's going to do for inheritance and estate taxes. We need to bring these conversations to our clients, and a lot of good professionals are doing this right now. In fact, many of the reasons that we created Asset Map was to help understand the complexity that people had in their lives. But because advisors are not necessarily bringing in the next generation, they create an opportunity that could be missed. And here's why. We're seeing the X generation and also older millennial kids of our clients who are in retirement start to get involved in the finances of their parents that are our clients. And what they're doing is they're bringing their collective knowledge and bias and opinions and relationships to the table and to the ears of their parents. And they're starting to see and getting involved as either a power of attorney or as executors and executrixes. And also, in many cases, taking over the digital enablement that their parents are saying, I don't want to learn the login. Can I bring my kid in to help me log in into those accounts? And they're getting to see through transparency now what an advisor is doing for the parents. This is an interesting opportunity and, of course, could be scary for many advisors as the next generation brings their impression of whether you're delivering value. And if there's no relationship currency built with next generation, advisors really risk, and it's been stated right now, and most people are using that 70% of our clients' children will likely move those assets when their parents leave us or are incapacitated. So it's actually happening faster than the planned generational distribution over the next 20 years, because it turns out that those kids are being brought into mom and dad's finances early. And we often, as financial advisors, don't have a relationship with them. The second thing that's really critical is that when you think about all those clients out there that have living parents that are older, if we're working with that second generation, it's very often that the next generation are going to be the stewards of their parents' capital in some form. Think about it this way. If your client is the X-Gen or millennial who is now taking care of or responsible for their parents as perhaps, let's say, the empowered executor or, as I said before, trustee or power of attorney for their siblings, they're going to be in control of significantly more capital based upon what their parents had. And advisors are not finding ways to engage mom and pop because they're really working with the, let's say, X generation who's, let's say, Henry or has built some assets. And I think it's an opportunity for advisors to help their clients start organizing mom and dad's situation. Financial planning as a noun has been challenging to deliver to the oldest generation because they're not always as transparent or want to show all of their financial resources to their living children at this point in time. But they might be willing, in this case, to do a treasure map or create some kind of common simplicity around the complexity that they have. Can we catalog all the assets that mom and pop have? Can we look at the insurance policies and make sure somebody has reviewed the beneficiaries? Can we discern who actually owns these instruments, or where are they located when we need to make that phone call? So I think there's an awesome opportunity for financial advisors to bring in a process very similar to Asset Map or its complement to help engage the older generation so that we know where everything is and build trust today. Critical to build what I call relationship currency and build trust with all three generations. And the way that we're doing that today is by, let's say we have everything on the same page, we've taken the time to catalog it and ask the question about intentionality. That is really where financial advisors can really engage multiple generations, deliver value and context, and of course, their advisor intelligence to their clients in real time across the generations.
So are they doing that with having a meeting? Do they have to be in person to discuss all that? Bring mom and pop up into the office? Or can they do that digitally? Is it client portals? Like, how are they engaging those generations?
There's two answers to that question. One is we do promote this concept of a family meeting where you bring in your clients, and if they have younger generations, invite the younger generation who's going to be their chosen child, if there's more than one, to the conversation so that you're starting to build into the next generation. When you're talking about older generations, sometimes you can send tools like our Discovery Profiler directly to our older generation's phones where they can do this catalog on their phone. But if they're not comfortable doing that, often it takes an interview or send me the statements and I'll figure it out and I'll build you this map so that you have this treasure map. And I think that's going to be really critical. Depending on how you do it, the key is to do something, not nothing. And I think getting to the place where we can actually map out the intentionality of someone's finances so we can ask good questions like the legal, the tax, the insurance, and the investment implications of structure will open up the right conversation to know where we need to add value and deliver education and also context. The challenge I would make to our community is to find ways that you can engage with multiple generations, but make it uniquely yourself so that it doesn't feel like an interrogation. And that's going to be really critical, that you find a process that has a reward at the end for our clients, very similar to here's your treasure map. I took the liberty of making this for you, and this will help you make decisions when the time is right.